Hey everyone! You know, Kieren Music Service is one of the greatest assets to our school district. From providing day-to-day materials like reeds and valve oil to purchasing pieces of sound and instrumental equipment, there isn't anything they can't do. Kieren Music Service helps our students sound the best they can each and every day, and we are proud to call them a Music in the Making sponsor. If you are looking for similar materials for your school, don't hesitate to call and ask for assistance and mention us, Music in the Making, today. Their number is 309 692 4040 or visit kiddermusic.com, that's KIDDER music.com today for all your music classroom needs. And now, on to the podcast. Welcome to Music in the Making.
That's illegal.
I want to be with you everywhere. A Halloween party. Oh, that's fun. Let's talk about work.
That's not what I said. Well, and I like Stanridge, so it's like I kind of.
Well, you guys are friends?
Yeah,
I
talked to him. Yeah, we talked
to him last week.
A whole 5 minutes at Midwest last year. We are 3 high school and junior high music teachers from West Central Illinois.
And someone had to go to the bathroom during intermission and missed it. And that someone is me.
Yeah! Each week we will talk about our experiences in the classroom, community, and personal lives too. Please welcome your hosts, Lisa Hallen.
We say move all this stuff down there, and then it gets moved, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, why have we moved that from there to there to there? Stop recording.
Art Martinez. Happy Friday if it's not a Friday, or Saturday or Sunday, or if you're Lisa, it's a week later. And Kevin Ferry.
I don't know what you're talking about.
During class.
Okay, I think we're good. I'm sorry, I have to have like the microphone block. Yeah, he will. So, but because I know you got to get out of here.
Yeah,
So
no,
we're
I
good.
appreciate
So, welcome back to another episode of Music in the Making. Oh my gosh, day before contest. It's wild. But I'll tell you what, once again, thank you, counselors. Shout out, counselors, for scheduling a test the day before contest. Because I think in the past it was just like not a good thing. But like because we're able to like have rehearsals, like, hey, okay, you get out early. So now we're going to run things. And like it worked out. Shout out, counselors.
Shout out.
I'm an advocate for the pre-ACT, the day before contest, because it means I got to rehearse my group instead of losing a rehearsal. So, with us, we have a brand new face with us. We have Mr. Kieren Marshall. We have hinted him being on the podcast for a long time because, and we'll get to it, like, because he plays a very unique instrument. But we'll get to that in a second. So, welcome, Kieren.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I would say I think this is going to be an exciting episode because, like, a lot of our kids know who you are and have you as a teacher, and I mean, Anastasia Hinderleiter is probably the number one fan of Mr. Marshall. Mm-hmm. She sometimes likes me, but I don't know. No. But anyway, so welcome. So I figured we just start off like tell us a little bit about yourself. How you ended up at MR, and we started at the same time, so that's pretty unique. But and then we'll go from there. So, floor is yours.
I think we're one of there's only 3 or 4 of us that are still.
Mm-hmm.
From that class.
Yeah, right. We toughed it out.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was born in England, but then moved to Australia for Dad's work and grew up in Australia and did all my schooling and sport and everything down under. And then I got a scholarship opportunity to play soccer at the college level here in the US. So my first 2 years of college, I went to a school called Wilson College in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania.
Shout out.
Yeah. And then I transferred from there to Monmouth College for my last 2 years. The coach at Monmouth had a lot of Australians on the roster, so he was accustomed to having us and having us play as a team. It was kind of cool to have that little niche here in the US with other Australian lads. So that was a good time. After I graduated, it was during COVID, so I couldn't get home. It was like a big security issue, and they had heavy restrictions. So I went to England for a year, worked there, and played a bit of soccer as well. And then I came back to Monmouth to teach here at the high school and give the teaching experience here a go. and that's how I've ended up here at MR, and I've been here for the last 3 years now.
It's really cool how, like, especially people who like do sports, like it's their journey is so unique because it's just like, you know, I went to this college and then I went to this college and whatnot. So like soccer's a really big thing in the UK and Australia. Like, I mean, but I guess like in comparison, it's like what to our football versus like soccer, or is it like it's nothing compared to soccer? I don't know much about soccer. Like, I have known very few people in my life who are like gung ho about soccer, so I really don't know much about it in the culture.
Yeah, it's different. Like a lot of the American sports, I didn't understand American football when I got here. It made no sense to me, like the culture and how they got more people to it than soccer games. It was kind of weird to me, but it's just the way it is, and that's how the culture's played out. But yeah, it's a big thing in other countries, and if you go to like Latin America, of course, it's a big thing down there too. So it's cool though. It's the world game, and you talk about to anyone, they at least know the rules or some players, and it gives you some common ground. So it's a good sport to get into.
I guess what was it the very first sport you ever played, like when you were a kid, or is it like you like, or you just found yourself like this is just like what I'm really good at? Like, I guess what got you into soccer first?
I originally played Australian rules football, which is like our version of American football. But I had some friends who played on a club team for soccer, and they needed a goalkeeper. That's the position I played, and I could catch a ball and move, so it sort of was a good fit, and
You didn't
worked
have to
out
run
quite
very
well.
far.
Yeah, those fitness tests didn't apply to me. So.
yeah. The wider the better. That means you can like, you know, cover up the goals. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, so you mentioned like your version of, you said the Australian version of like American football. Like, I guess what is that different than rugby, or is it rugby like totally different?
Yeah.
I always thought rugby was like football, but then I think some people say it's not. So I was curious.
Yeah, it depends where you are. Like
Yeah.
in the UK, they might call rugby football.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, rugby, Australian rules football, they're different sports.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, that's awesome. Well, I mean, of course, like we love having you at MR. I was saying, like I said, everyone loves Mr. Marshall. Go ahead, Lisa.
Speaking of at MR, what do you do at MR? What do you teach and what do you coach?
So I teach English as a second language, English language development, we call it here. So I teach the intermediate level and the advanced level. So students who've had a bit more English experience and just need that extra push academically to test out of the program. But that's my position here education-wise. And then I also one of the assistant coaches for soccer for both the boys and girls teams.
I mean, and we've said it before on the podcast, like, what is it? It's like over 20 languages are spoken or something crazy like that. And in the district, it's like over 20 languages. So for like you to be trying to help those kids who maybe a lot of them are Spanish, or Spanish speaking, but like to even have other dialects of even that, I'm sure are like kind of difficult to navigate. So it's pretty impressive that you're trying to get these kids to speak English, which I'm sure is even just more confusing for them.
Yeah, it can be, but
I really do like those videos of like, you know, how English looks. Like it always depends on the context,
right.
Which is like, I'm sure for maybe some language that's kind of the same, but most languages I think have a certain word for only a certain particular, so which kind of makes it easier, I'm sure, for them. So
yeah, our kids who learn English at Rockstar is like I can't imagine.
Yeah, it really is. But I think they're getting such a good education and whatnot.
Yeah.
Come on in, David.
Play ball.
Play.
Oh my gosh. So for our longtime listeners, we had Mr. Marshall's coworker Nick Dilly on.
Yeah.
I feel like, wow, another. They are work besties.
I would say for part of our intro, Nick is part of our intro because he was trying to translate "girl bye" in like Japanese or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. I have to. Yeah. I gotta find that episode. That's a pretty good one. But yeah. So part of today's episode though is to discuss your musical background because I already hinted at it. You play a very unique instrument. Anyone want to? Do you know what his instrument? You know. Yeah, that's one of them. Lisa, do you want to give a guess at what he plays?
The kazoo.
Oh, I feel like sometimes people think it's a kazoo. It's a big kazoo. No, Mr. Marshall, what is the instrument that you play?
I play the bagpipes.
He plays the bagpipes, people. That's so awesome.
That is.
But why do you play the bagpipes? There's a reason, right?
Be a certain school that you went to?
Yeah. So when I was at school, outside of like academics and sports, I wanted something else. So I went to a high school that had a pipe band, which was really cool. And then the local college here has a strong Scottish tradition, and they have a pipe band that's affiliated with a scholarship as well. So that's part of the reason why I ended up over here, specifically in Monmouth, and why I'm still here now. Yeah.
I will say, like, because you just said a second ago, it's a strong like Scottish tradition, like kilts and all people. Like, they dress like traditional, and it is one of the coolest things you see. You would not think you'd see that in the middle of like rural Illinois, like a legit pipe band with like the drums and the pipes and everything. So that's pretty awesome. So I guess how many years have you been doing that now?
Been sort of on and off since I was about 10 maybe.
Wow.
So yeah, close to 15 years now.
Was it
I'd
your
say.
first instrument?
No, we had to play like the recorder and things like that in school, but this was the first one that I sort of committed outside of class time.
Is that soprano bagpipes recorders? That's pretty awesome. So I guess so take us through, I guess, like the experience of like here at the college. Like, so what are some of the, like, what do your practices look like? What kind of music do you play, and like how do you get the band together, sort of thing?
Okay, so practices when I was at the college and now they're once a week. We sort of change the days depending on student schedules, because it's supposed to be a student-led band, so we're sort of dependent on them and their availability. So usually it's in the evenings after 6 on Mondays or Tuesdays, and we have some local community members as well that play in the band, so they roll up whenever they can as well. Normally we just sort of play, we have a thing called a chanter, which is what we practice on. It's a bit of a hassle getting the bagpipes out every single time to practice, so to work on technique and things like that and notes, we do the chanter first, and then we'll get up onto pipes and play individually and as a band. Most of our music is usually traditional, what you sort of hear, football games or graduation, those sorts of songs we tend to play. But we're looking to expand out and get some different time signatures going and different levels of speed dynamics working together. So at the moment it's mostly traditional, but we're definitely looking to expand our range and play those as well.
That's awesome. So I guess, how would you describe like playing it? So that might be kind of like a hard question to answer, because I mean when we try to explain to the kids like how to, like, especially like beginners and stuff, I always tell them like you need at least the amount of air to go through the whole instrument. But for the bagpipes it's different, because you have to blow for like the notes that you're gonna play later instead of playing like right. Like, it's like almost like a delayed thing. So I guess like how does that work exactly? Best of your ability to explain it. Like I said, I don't know, but you're the expert in the room. So
it takes a bit of coordination. So it's something you have to sort of synchronize as you learn. But there's 3 pieces to it. So firstly, the blowpipe. So you breathe air into that, and that then fills a reservoir in the bag. And that's where your air goes and is stored. And then as you play, you're meant to squeeze the bag as well to then help with sound and airflow. And then you have your chanter at the bottom, which is what you play the notes on, and that's where the sound comes out through, as well as the drones, which make that like
the held note sound before you start playing the actual.
Yeah.
That's so fascinating. What a crazy instrument. But like, I mean, it's so recognizable. You hear it in like movies and TV shows, and like, obviously we hear it regularly because the band is always playing, especially during the football season and whatnot. I mean, it's really a fascinating instrument.
Well, and like that chanter is a practice one, right?
Yeah.
That I've seen him practicing that, and it blows my mind because it looks like a expanded recorder. Like, it's just like about that size, a little longer, with a little like thick part up at the top, and it is. But then he blows into it, and it sounds like bagpipes. And like I remember, I was like, how does that sound come out of that piece of plastic?
Yeah.
Like, so just for
and
those...
it's a reed instrument too, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, is the reed already attached to it, or is like you have to take that off and you put it? Because like our reeds for our woodwinds, we have to take them on and off and to change them, and because it affects sound and stuff like that. But I guess How does it work for bagpipes?
Yeah, so on like a practice channel, it's normally like a synthetic reed.
Oh, okay.
You can leave it in, but better to take it out and dry
air
it
it
and
out.
things.
Yeah.
But with the bagpipe, it's a wooden reed. So yeah, you do have to take it out after you play because there'll be moisture issues and tonal issues. So you do need to take it out every now and then, usually after you play for an extended period of time. Yeah.
That's crazy. I would say it's such a neat instrument. It really is.
It is.
And then, but is it one that I probably would ever want to learn how to play? Probably not. It looks so complicated. So when you're reading music, and I'm sure it looks like, well, I mean, maybe it doesn't. Like, does it look like normal music, or is there like because the drones are doing one thing, and then you're doing another different notes and another thing? Like, does the music look really complicated, or is it just like? Is it really? I've never seen it. I like that. Yeah. I'd have to. I'll put a picture online.
He's showed me stuff, and he's like, "Well, that means this," and I'm like, "You just played like 10 notes, and there's like 2 little dashes there."
Yeah.
To me, who does not know bagpipes, it looks complicated.
Complicated.
To our guest, he's about to be all humble and say, "Oh, it's just
so
something."
easy." You mean you don't know how to?
Because it's a bunch of like ornaments.
Yeah.
And he knows the finger patterns. For them, right?
Interesting.
So the bass notes are like the same that you would see on a treble clef. We can only play an octave range from G to A, I believe. So that's our bass notes, and so when we're playing, majority of the time, that's what it will be. However, that would be too simple. So they've developed a lot of they're called embellishments, which is what Lisa's talking about. They're sort of like small dashes, but it's like a collection of 4, 5, sometimes up to 12, I think is the biggest embellishment, of notes that you play in a rapid style. That adds the dynamics and flavor to the music, rather than just being straight notes. That's why we have those embellishments to enhance the overall music and tone. Yeah.
That's crazy. I'll find a picture of like bagpipe music, and I'll put it on the Facebook so people can be like, look how complicated this is, or is it? I don't know. That's fascinating. So back to like a question I was gonna ask before that. So when you're playing, are there spots written in, or like, because maybe you're experienced, like to know when to put air into the reservoir and then when to squeeze? Like, I guess, like, is that an indication in the music ever, or is it just because you're experienced? If you're inexperienced, is just try to play the notes as quickly as you can? Or I'm just curious, like, how, because again, you're breathing to breathe later or to play later. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of fascinating, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So there's nothing in terms of the music that tells you when you're supposed to breathe and when you're supposed to squeeze and things like that. Normally, in like a slow song or a funeral type song, you want to breathe through the longer notes, because if you don't breathe or squeeze, like, you need air going through the instrument when you're playing longer notes, because if you don't do that, there'll be a noticeable shift in sound, and it'll go like down from the constant level, and you'll hear the drop. And that's particularly if you're being judged, that's not what you want at all. So you need to, through the longer notes, you need to squeeze and get the air through. You can kind of get away with it when you're playing quicker, but those long, slow notes, you need to have the air going constantly.
The iconic Amazing Grace bagpipe thing, like, that's just like that drone the entire, like, I would just, so like, if I'm blowing into the reservoir, is there any indication like it's filled, or is it like
it pops?
Then you might need a new bag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sounds expensive.
Yeah, so normally, like, if the bag's full, your arm's all the way out.
Okay.
And you're not sort of just resting on the bag.
Sure.
But yeah, you'll need to squeeze it in to get like the whole sound and the sound consistent throughout. So you should always be like squeezing. You should technically always be squeezing, and then you fill it up as the arm gets closer into your body.
I guess it's like, because for our instruments that we use, like, when I run out of air, that's all I got. But I guess for the bagpipes, I'd be like, I guess I'm like imagining if I'm blowing and I'm also doing this and it's out of time, like, it would feel awkward. Like, I would just feel like, you know, like I should be doing it here, or maybe it feels awkward, like doesn't feel awkward or
More of a
musical.
full body.
Yeah, so that's really really cool. Question.
I have two things, and I need to leave.
Yes.
One of them's on topic. One of them is totally gonna derail this all, and you
Lisa
can
list.
get back on topic. It is on Lisa's list.
Yeah, there you go.
First of all, you saying that made me think. The first time I ever heard of Monmouth, Illinois, was because of the bagpipe program. Because little
Same.
15-year-old Lisa was a freshman, and one of the seniors in our band was going to Monmouth College, and I don't know if he already knew bagpipes or if he was learning it for that scholarship. And that just like took me back. I was like, oh my gosh, that was my first introduction. Zach Brand,
Shout out.
shout out, was going to Monmouth College. Like, he was a senior in band. I was a freshman. Wow.
That's hilarious.
Anyway.
I same thing, because I'm like, oh wow, I get a free ride if I just learn the bagpipes.
Right.
I remember I told my dad that, and he's like, do you know how to play them? I'm like, no. He's like, then you're probably not gonna go. I'm like,
Probably
I'm like,
not.
but I could. Yeah.
Right?
Anyway, okay. Sorry.
Okay, and then again,
Lisa
please get back on topic. Let me see how I worded it, because that's always the best part about Lisa's list. Okay, ask about his beef with the squirrel.
Oh,
I hear you have beef with the squirrel.
was there a squirrel that you ever?
Oh, that's
Corey, my girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
We were having dinner and she talked about the squirrel because she has lots of pets all the time, and they used to be roommates. My girlfriend and him used to be roommates, housemates, whatever you want to call it.
But
tread lightly, because she loves squirrels.
yes,
so.
I do.
Right.
So maybe you should literally leave the room and then bash the squirrel or whatever.
I'm probably gonna take the squirrel side, but I'm open to hearing both of them.
Yeah, it's not so much. It's just their intelligence that was a struggle for me. So, yeah, David's girlfriend, she got this squirrel. It fell out of a tree like as a baby, so she rescued it, which is something that she still does, I assume. I don't know.
She had a baby rabbit a couple weeks ago.
And she had a raccoon at one point. So all sorts of animals going through the house. And so at this point, when I was living out there, she was helping out this squirrel and, you know, nursing it back to health and getting it to maturity, etc., etc. I was like, fine, no problem. It was all good. And then the squirrel got like to the point where it was a bit like mischievous and a bit too big for the house and knocking things over and all that sort of stuff. So they moved it outside to like its own enclosure, and it had like free reign, but it just had a place to sleep that was outside. That's all. So that was all fine. And Corey's dog knew not to like mess with it, and it never did. But it was out one time, and the other dog that lives next door is like a hound dog, and he's notorious for finding animals, bringing back, you know, animals to eat and consume, animal parts. And so I was out. I can't remember what I was doing, but I was out in the field, and I see this squirrel just running away from the next door neighbor's dog, and I was like, "Oh, that's our squirrel." So I hightailed it over and sort of stopped the dog from getting him, because that would have been it otherwise. And yeah, that's traumatized me ever since.
So you're the
Yikes.
hero of this story.
Yes.
Wow.
This is part of the story.
What's part two?
Yeah, what is part two?
I don't know.
Part two.
I
Well,
thought
honestly, you
just
weren't
hated
there,
and, like,
but-
despised the squirrel.
No, I didn't want to have to do that, but then
That's hard, yeah.
But then the squirrel a few weeks later disappeared. Now I don't think it was any of the dogs around,
Yeah.
but I suspect a coyote or.
I was gonna say it was just trotted along to happiness.
Yeah, well-
angsty
went
teen
there.
squirrel. You can't keep me here, mom and dad. I'm going out on my own.
Yeah, well, so that I have no idea what happened to him.
What was
but
the squirrel's name?
Chuck?
I wasn't.
Chuck.
Chuck.
Chuck, yeah, Chuck the
Chuck.
squirrel.
That was BD
Good name.
before David.
Yeah, that was.
Shout out Chuck the squirrel.
Shout out Chuck the squirrel.
Yeah.
He's happy somewhere.
He's on that farm, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
He's on that squirrel
Okay.
farm with all his squirrel friends.
I'm so sorry. I have to go.
You have
I
to go.
cannot wait to listen to the rest
Yes,
Sounds great.
of it in
absolutely.
like 3 months.
Right.
Bye.
Well,
See ya.
thanks.
Girl, bye.
A girl. So yeah. So all right. So going back to bagpiping. And I know we've tried to have like some students like get in on that program. Like I mentioned Anastasia earlier, like she'd be like one that would be gung ho for that.
Yep.
I guess like what would be some things to consider before like. Like granted, you started on recorders and things, but like, do you feel like there's any other aspects before like someone if they always wanted to learn the bagpipes for for whatever reason, do you feel like what are some aspects about the bagpipe that maybe like someone should consider, like when taking up this kind of instrument?
Yeah, it's always unique how someone ends or falls into it. Quite often it's like familial, like they have parents or grandparents that played, or they had, a grandparent had an old set of pipes and then the kid started learning. So usually it's quite like familial in that sense. A lot of people will play oboe or clarinet, those kinds of instruments. They translate reasonably well over, at least to the chanter side of things. So if you have instrument knowledge like that helps. And then of course with percussion we've recruited percussionists as well, and they've been able to go from snare, like marching band snare, to pipe band snare, and they've been able to handle that transition quite well. So and that
even of itself is a little bit different. Like I think the notes sort of look the same, but I think the style with which you play them is, in order to be traditional, is a bit different. So
Highland drumming is different in terms of like how you hold the sticks.
Yep.
And then there's some like technicalities that are different, but as I said, like percussionists have been able to make that transition quite well. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I was gonna say like there was one other thing I was thinking about while you were saying that. Well, you mentioned like with maybe families, having pipes and stuff. Like, do any of your parents play musical instruments at all, or was that ever an experience for them to play pipes?
No, Mum definitely not. She didn't play too much, from my understanding. Dad was in choir, and I think he played the flute. Sort of in his teenage years.
Sure.
But my dad's side of the family is Scottish, and he went to a school that had a pipe band as well. They were very cool. Scottish traditional. So he was always around bagpipes, and he always liked it. And when I went to a school that was of similar ilk that had a pipe band, he was quite strong in getting me into it, and I sort of followed it ever since. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. David, any questions about bagpipes that you've always wanted to know? We have an expert here.
I don't know. I just text him.
We'll start going to your text chain and start asking the questions live.
Well, last question I asked you about the Minecraft movie. I don't know.
Yeah, that was.
If you wanted to go see the Minecraft movie, a double date.
There was that in trivia.
Yeah. I think it's so crazy because I try to think of another movie where the trailer that basically gave away the movie, it seems like, and people like taking all the quotes from the trailer and then just going to see the movie and just waiting to just say the things out loud is like, I don't think, like the Minecraft movie. Like, have you not seen the videos online of people going?
It's crazy.
I think I'm like, what other phenomenon of a movie has this ever happened?
People bringing live chickens to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And lava too.
Yeah, and the lava.
What a weird movie. What a weird time to be alive.
Yeah.
Also, like, I saw a thing where it was like Jack Black's been in a comedy movie or a video game movie like for the last 3 years. Like, can't wait for Assassin's Creed or something like that, where he's gonna be.
Well, he was in Mario and Minecraft and what else?
What was it? It was one that I kind of forgot about. Honestly, I don't even remember off the top of my head. But it was like Mario was like 2 years ago or something like that. Yeah. And then now Minecraft again. So people were just.
I arranged Peaches for our UWP low brass ensemble. Like right after it came out, and we had Tuba Ween like in a month or so, or the next semester or whatever. I arranged it. It was so cool. It was so fun.
You said Tuba Ween. I'm like, what the heck is that? Because I was thinking Tuba Christmas, but I was like, what?
Tuba Ween is where it's
Halloween,
just a little
right?
yeah,
I got it.
And or October Fest is another, which I think is a better name for it, right?
I was gonna say Tuba Ween sounds like a
goofy.
tuba cover of like the band Ween, but like that's too niche.
But like
anyway.
October Fest, right?
Yeah, I got you.
I think that's even better, and then you don't have to.
That's a play ball. That's a play ball title, October Fest. Tuba Ween.
We always call it Tuba Ween, but I think October Fest is better. And I asked my professor, Dr. Daniel J. Rowland, who's
Shout
also
out.
my cousin.
Shout out.
And I'm like, can we please change it to Tuba Fest. It's such a better name.
It definitely flows a little better. But like Tuba Christmas around here, Tuba Christmas, like that's all we ever talk about, or whatever we ever call it.
It's a good program too. Tuba Christmas.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
been
fun.
2 of them.
Well, because it's just baritones and tubas. Like it's like.
Whoa, let's.
Oh,
run that
sorry.
back, Jack.
Euphoniums. Sorry.
Yeah,
not
euphoniums.
baritones.
Do you know the difference between euphonium and a baritone?
No.
Baritones are cylindrical bore instruments, like a trumpet or a trombone, where they're the same like size bore all the way around their tubing. But euphonium is a conical instrument, so that means it gets bigger like a cone, right? And 99% of all baritones, and I had air quotes if you're not watching. if they're
Do them in the camera. Oh, but
if
yeah,
they're like driving or whatever,
yeah,
I put air quotes. All the baritones, air quotes, in America are euphoniums, but nobody knows the difference, and so they just say baritones.
And what does it say on our books? Baritones.
And it's wrong. I'm gonna die on that hill.
It's gonna be like, well, they're instead of it being like, hey, we're gonna cater to the majority, we're gonna cater to the minority by calling it this, and then it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're David Flowers, who thinks it's not okay.
It's not. You should just know. We do not have a single baritone here. I almost guarantee it.
I think
They're
that's
all
pretty true.
euphoniums.
I think it's pretty true. I was gonna say, I think, like, I mean, we might have some legit ones around here
That have not been played in 50 years.
Yeah, probably that need to actually be taken to our sponsor, Kieren, music to be looked at some point. But that's time for another day. When we have a true euphonium player come, I will give them a baritone and be like, I will learn them. I will learn them right.
Yeah. It's like the difference between a cornet and a trumpet. Like, yeah, they're
One's
kinda
smaller.
The same thing.
One's
No.
just smaller. Smaller trumpet.
Cornets are conical instruments. Trumpets are cylindrical bore.
One's just smaller.
No.
It's just smaller trumpet. That's all.
One has a warmer tone, and one is.
I guess we're getting technical about it, but anyway, well, thank you so much for being on here. We do. I mean, it really was a long time coming. Lisa was like, he should like do a video of him playing bagpipes. So for the podcast, I'm like, I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna make him do that. So, but if you really want to, we can put it on our Facebook. I think it'd be pretty fun. But I think it's awesome. But again, like, anytime we have like the Prime Beef Parade and stuff, like I try to show, like, point you out, because I think it's such a cool thing that, like, you don't teach music here, but you are teaching, I think, musical examples, or like setting a musical example by doing the thing outside. And I think for some of these kids, like, a lot of them probably won't continue with music, but I think it's important to be like, hey, like, it doesn't matter if it's your full-time job or not. Like, you should be continuing to do these things that you like to do in high school, especially if you had the special moments and made the lifelong friends and did these special things, because, you know, it's important for other people to see that, inspire them. So who knows, maybe we'll just have our own bagpipe band one day. We'll have
You can start it.
bagpipe band and baritone band.
No, okay.
But we'll use euphoniums, though.
No.
So, anyway, well, thank you again for being here. So, before we go, it is contest season. Our contest is tomorrow for organizational, which is going to be crazy. But our kids have worked super hard, so I think we're going to have a good day tomorrow. So, I'm looking forward to that. But if your contest has not happened yet, make sure that you order your scores and original copies for the judges. We absolutely need that. I've triple checked myself, so like, I still don't. I'm uncomfortable. It's like, it's the worst thing, because it's like, if you get automatically knocked down if you don't have your music. So, and you feel bad because, like, the kids have their music but the judges don't. So anyway, but one more thing, spring is in the air, meaning that recruiting your future beginners is at hand. Let Kieren Music help you organize what your students will need, like an instrument rental, music books, and stand. Their expertise will ensure your beginners' first notes are a success, and Kieren Music will be coming out at the end of the month to start our beginners. So we're looking forward to having Blake and the whole team out there helping us out. So anyway, thank you again for being here. Do you know how we end it?
No.
Okay, so we're going to say girl bye, but we're going to do high pitched, and we're going to go up on girl and down on bye.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
You know how to do it.
Yeah, a little bit. I know how to start the podcast.
It's not play ball.
It's
Unlike some of the rumors online. So anyway,
Yeah.
well, thanks again, and here we are, girl bye.